see both runners starting off, and then we do have a quick note on the sprites. Looks like it's the regular link for SuperSkuj, and I'm not sure. Is that the Maple Queen on
No, that is
Zaen?
that is Papoy from Secret of Mana. Starting things off here, we've got a heart container in Link's house, and they're already diversion. Zaen is going to head up to Uncle. Skudge is going to head down into the lower back end of Kakariko. So we'll see. Probably going to stop off and try to farm some bombs, make sure he can get what he needs for Kakariko. Let's see what we find on the tree pole.
Yeah, indeed. That's both plays. Oh, four
bombs! Best thing you can find in an early tree pull. Nice.
Wow. That could have only been better if it was 8 bomb drops. But dang, that is very nice for Zaen. They both have bombs already, so not going to be too much of an issue. It'll be interesting to see if Skudge decides to use his for the bombable hut to get those free bombs right there.
Indeed. 20 from the Uncle. Did not see it was on the race game, unfortunately. Could not see it.
It's just 5 arrow upgrade, so nothing exciting there. So nothing yet, and we get another 20. So Uncle and Chest by the Uncle are just 40 total rupees.
Yep, and looks like a 300 there on the library, so we're probably not going to be seeing that this run. So when now Zaen heading up to Sanctuary finds another heart container. So we're getting a lot of early health here, and let's see what Kakariko has to offer.
No, that's 2 heart pieces in the first 2 chests that you could have gotten. So full hearts either way, and another 5 arrow upgrade inside the tavern, behind the tavern. So nothing so far as far as progression or really exciting items.
Yeah, but we still got a ton of places to check. Skudge now going to head into the chicken shack, while Zaen is going to do the lumberjack check. Let's see what that has there. Oop, missed the bomb there.
Oh, man.
A little bit of trouble.
Wasted one of his precious bombs as Zaen gets more bombs. That tree pole. Oh, SuperSkuj getting some lucky bomb drops right there after wasting one of them.
Yeah, couldn't have picked that better time. Only hearts from the Hoarder, unfortunately, so that's not going to do him any good. But let's see what's hiding. It looks like he's going to have the Blinds Hut next. We got 5 potential items in there, and we've got a sword upgrade in the Lumberjack Cave.
Oh, well, I don't think we'll ever see them go for that because we'll have to have at least Master Sword to even get to Aghanim, and they're going to want to try to avoid going to Aghanim at all costs. They will not go kill Aghanim for that sword, that's for sure.
No, now you have Piece of Heart, 5 bomb upgrade, and big 20, and just 300 rupees, so not much.
The hammer in the forest! Oh!
Stop. Hammer time!
Oh, man. That is a very nice find, and early hammer, that gives them a nice weapon they can use already to do damage. That does tempered sword damage, so that is really nice to have right now.
Yeah, not a bad start at all. And not much else in Blind's Hut. So Blind's Hut was a bit of a bust. But now we've got the well. Again, 5 more items here. So we'll see what we can find hiding around here. But still, early hammer. That's a key sign there. Piece of Heart starting things off in the well. Let's head to the back here. Get some more rupees. Thankfully, he has enough for the bottle vendor. So we're checking that. And more bombs.
And I was just about to point that out. SuperSkuj has been able to pick up bomb drops. So his path has not hurt him as we get a bee in a bottle. And our fighter sword. All right. So 3 minutes in, we have our first sword and a hammer. That's not too bad.
Not at all. Piece of Heart from the bottle vendor. Truth be told, not a very lucrative Kakariko, but we do get to get an early bottle check, so we'll see what the sick kid has to offer. What you got for us, buddy?
Just a piece of heart. So this is a very healthy seed to start off. We've already got 5 full hearts, and I believe Skudge is 1 heart piece away from another heart, and that is actually the golden bee, excuse me. As you saw, if you saw, there was a little plus sign next to it. That signifies that it's the golden bee versus a normal bee. And
he went to go sell it, but unfortunately the bee decided, no, I want to hang out with the bird instead. So that was
it's coming back.
Still, it means he's going to try to sell that for 100 rupees. Could not quite pull that off. So he's going to head up to the forest, get his hammer, and then from there, my guess would be the South Shore.
Yeah, they'll be pretty close to the same path from there. SuperSkuj getting lucky, being able to get bomb drops, didn't have to buy any, so didn't have to spend any time doing that kind of stuff. Zaen is picking up their sword and their bottle, so we'll get both of those items. They'll be pretty close to the same time by the time they're done going through the same routes that the other has already done.
Yep. Kind of crisscrossing at this point, so hopefully once we'll see them head to the South Shore. One of them could also do escape since they have swords now. So we might see that play being made, and that would be interesting. We'll see where it goes.
That's a good point. I mean, the hammer would actually probably be the weapon of choice since it kills things so much easier. It'll be interesting to see if that is where they go. There's plenty of options for them open right now where they have a sword and hammer. Not too many things. The hammer, besides being a nice weapon, doesn't do anything for them quite yet.
And Mally in the chat already talking about the trolliest thing you could do. Sword on pedestal, one sword on the tablet, and we already saw one sword in the lumberjack cave. That would then we would see some trolley seating.
Yes, indeed. All right, so it looks like SuperSkuj is, let's see, if he goes down, he's heading to the south, and that looks like that's what we're doing. Is we get a map check. It was a Crystal 5 on Hera, Blue Pendant on Eastern Palace, and I believe it was Crystal 3 in Desert.
Looks about right to me. And Skud's now going to work his way down to the South Shore. He's going to head to the dam, get 2 items there, and then, of course, Mini Moldorm Cave with its 5 items, and possibly even the Ice Rod Cave. See how that plays out here. He's going to go right to drain the dam first. Figure check that, then grab the chest, and if the item in the dam, the item in the lake is worth it, he'll pick that up on the way out.
Yes, indeed, he will. And we'll see what Zaen decides to do, if they go the same route or if they decide to head to escape.
5-bomb upgrade from the dam. Let's see what the chest has for him here. Nope, and Zaen heading down. Big 20 from the chest, so dam not paying out. We're not finding much earlier on in the 0-0 area, so looks. I'm calling. There's got to be something in the Mini Moldorm Cave. We need to find something fast.
Yeah, we have the hammer, while being really nice, again, is not progression for them at this point. It will not allow them to complete any dungeons. It doesn't get them anywhere. It's just a really nice item to have, and it's really important later on. But at this point in time, it does not progress them anywhere.
All right, SuperSkuj having only a little bit of trouble there getting to the Mini Moldorm Cave. We find Blue Mail.
Moon Pearl!
Big 20. Another big 20 and 50 rupees. I said there was something in there. Moon Pearl certainly will count. Now he's only a Power Glove away from Dark World access.
Yeah, that would be really early Dark World access if we find a Power Glove here. Still plenty of things they could find that would not be Dark World. They don't need the Power Glove quite yet, but would definitely open up the sea quite a lot if they were able to get that Power Glove.
Indeed. And SuperSkuj, as I suspected, heading up to the Ice Rod Cave, one of the trickiest locations to route in, because even if you have boots and flute, you still kind of have to go out of your way to get to this location, so it's usually best to route this in now so you don't forget it, because it every once in a while will have something important in it. So let's see if that is the case here today.
Yeah, really, that is so true. Like, Ice Rod Cave is one of those things that you hate to have to route in, but you need to do it, because if it's not 10 arrows like we just got there, you're going to be in big trouble if you don't go early. In this seed, just 10 arrows, so not going to be anything that's important, but it looks like Zaen is going to do the same thing. Another thing to point out, they are getting close to Zora money. Zaen is just 69 rupees away. A fake flipper could be in work since we do have the Moon Pearl. We could get the water walking.
Very much so. That would open up a couple more items, even if it is a sequence break. So where is Skudge going to go from here? Because he's heading through the sanctuary. He's doing his map check. And there's really not much to do up here. I think he just realized he can't do much up here because he doesn't have any gloves. He can't check the back of escape. So he's going to have to go the front way in.
Yep, and then see now their options are either escape, front of escape, or Eastern, and it looks like that's where SuperSkuj is going to head over to Eastern. You got 3 items behind Sahasrara. You can never mind, I'm wrong.
He's heading to the shop. I think he's going to, no, wait, what is he doing? Did he not realize he doesn't have flippers? What is he doing?
Not entirely sure where his mind was there. Maybe he just played a seed before we got early flippers or something. I don't know. But yeah, he was not able to do what he was trying to do. Meanwhile, we do have a divergence. Zaen heading into the front of escape while SuperSkuj is heading to Eastern Palace to Sahasrara's side.
Oh, okay. Chap pointing out he was checking the Lake Hylia Island. I didn't see what was on there, unfortunately. Didn't realize that, but Sahasrara has big 20, 10 arrows, and triple bombs. Not much there. Zaen now working the front end of escape, and only finding 100 rupees in that first chest.
Not much for Sahasula today, and that 100 rupees does put Zaen over the 500 threshold for Zora, so it'll be interesting to see if he decides to throw in a fake flippers to Zora at any time now. It'll be, I mean, it is a sequence break, but with the 500 rupees, if they don't find anything, it'll be interesting to see if that's something that they decide to do, because they're both pretty close to that.
Indeed. SuperSkuj now heading into Eastern Palace. We got 3 unique items hiding in there. Hopefully he won't get bow locked, but we'll shall see. And Zaen now we're finishing up the escape. Found some some code red there. So he's got a second bottle already. That's always nice to find.
Yeah, always nice to find, especially early on, to find a red potion just in case you need it. Low hearts, going into some of the more early dungeons that you can go into with Randomizer, where you're low hearts, like Mothula, where you could use that extra safety as a health, as the health potion. So not a bad find.
And Skudge finding the map already in the Eastern. That's actually not a good sign, because you want to find those items early. But hopefully he'll find something else along the way. Zaen now going to check out. Oh, there's the bow!
The bow! Oh, man. So we do know now that SuperSkuj will be bow locked in Eastern. Oh, man.
Yeah, well, at least we'll be bow locked to some extent. He will have to double dip into Eastern, but Zaen will not. He can full clear Eastern right now. I mean, if he can handle dark rooms. So this is going to be really big for Zaen right at this point.
Yeah, that is a huge thing, and it's good to point out that this will be a sequence break. Unless SuperSkuj does find the lamp, we'll know that it's not. But at this point, if Zaen does clear Eastern, which I would imagine they're pretty comfortable with both sets of dark rooms in Eastern, we will see for sure. But it'll be interesting to see where. Oh, okay. I got kind of confused.
Yeah, you and I were thinking the same thing there.
Oh, power gloves! There's our Dark World access.
Yep. We've got it. So yeah, but the SuperSkuj almost passed those up. That would have been bad.
That would have been really bad, especially since he wouldn't be coming back here until he got the bow. And where he got it, he probably would have waited until he got done with Pod, which we know he wouldn't be able to get to because he didn't have the power gloves. And we have no idea where the Tinesmiths are yet. So Zaen will definitely be able to finish this, again, if they are comfortable with the dark rooms, which I imagine both runners are pretty comfortable with. This first one that we see SuperSkuj in, where you gotta go pick up the key, and then the second one where you gotta kill the Igor just north of the big chest.
Yeah, but as chat really points out, now with getting the power glove and having Dark World access, how long will it take for SuperSkuj to check escape to get that bow? That could throw him off course, so we'll see how that plays out. There's triple bomb, so that's all 3 items. And he's going to death warp out because he is done here. He can't finish this dungeon, but Zaen can.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. That is all the items, so that is the one nice thing for SuperSkuj. He won't have to worry about an item left on the Armos Knights. But yeah, this is a blue pendant, so this may not even be a required dungeon to finish. Okay, what is SuperSkuj doing?
He left a chest behind. He left the first chest behind, which has a heart container.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, I totally forgot that he didn't get that. Okay, so he's now got all the items. So to your earlier point, saying you wonder how long it's going to take, it looks like we'll have to see where he goes, but I think getting the power gloves might actually lead him to escape, because that'll open up the back of escape, which that looks like that's where he's heading now, which hopefully leads him to go towards the front as well.
We can only hope for that, but let's see what he finds there. 3 potential chests here in the back end of escape. What does he find hiding back here? Let's take a look as he heads inside. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? We have small key, $50, and a piece of heart.
So not a lot. And see where he heads now. He's going to the house, so I think this is a good sign. Should be heading towards the front of escape, where SuperSkuj will get their bow, and that is very good for them. Very good.
Yeah, that would have been a big loss here. Zaen going to make the play on the Armos Knights. He's thinking it's an easy kill, and if this ends up being a pedestal seed later, he can make that play.
Yeah, it's not a bad play. I mean, you can you can complete it now, especially if you're comfortable with that dark room, and he does a very good job. Gets the key, head up to the top, move that pot, and head right on through to the rest of the dungeon. So not a bad idea for Zaen. And SuperSkuj is finally getting to the uncle.
Yep, he didn't check this earlier, but he's not gonna find much here. But yeah, you know, again, if this doesn't end up as a pedestal seed, it's not a huge loss of time. But if it is, it's a huge gain. So no matter what, this is a good call.
Yeah, that is for sure. And at this point, just to remind everybody that may not know, this is a sequence break for Zaen. We do not have the lamp, which is required by the logic to do anything that is in a dark room where we just saw him, where you can't see anything. Runners are allowed to do that if they are very comfortable with it. It is considered a very minor thing. So nothing breaking any rules, but it is breaking the logic that the seed has so far.
Thankfully, we know that there's not going to be anything super gained out of this because we know these guys have the compass, but he gets through very quickly. Nice quick kill on the Armos Knights, gets his blue pendant. And the question is, where does he go from here? You know, is he going to go Dark World, or does he want to check the last remaining Overworld spots like the Back of Escape and Agnes Cave, which still hasn't been checked?
Yeah, that is a good point. If I were Zaen, I would go to the Back of Escape first, check those 3 items. If you're comfortable, go in and check the dark room chest. If not, try maybe come back later. But there's not too many good opportunities to ever check that chest, except for when you're doing the back.
Actually, if I'm doing my math correctly, there's nothing there. The sewers will only have the map because we never found that.
Oh, I think you might be right, actually. So then scratch all that. So Back of Escape, and then I would go straight to the Dark World. I wouldn't worry about Agnes Cave yet. You have plenty of locations to check in the Overworld and Dark World. And if you can route Agnes Cave into when you can actually get into Desert Palace, that'll make everything that much quicker for you. And that would be the best routing, I think. And we'll have to see what Zaen decides to do. If they go to Sanctuary, I think that's what they're doing.
No, he's going back to Link's house here. So we'll see. Is he going to head down? He is heading down. I think he... Oh, changed his mind.
Maybe realized, oh, wait, I can only get 1 item there unless it happens to be... Wait.
Zaen, what are you doing? You confused me. He's confused. Oh, here's what he's... He's confusing the heck out of us here. And he's actually following SuperSkuj, who's doing the exact same thing now. He's now in the Dark World. And I believe their first stop's going to be the Prince Cave, as I like to call it. Why? Because it's the location formerly known as the Hype Cave. And here's our Dark World map check. Green pendant at Pod, red pendant at Misery Mire, Crystal 6 at Ice Palace.
Indeed, and then you got the other Skull Woods, Thieves Town, Swamp Palace, and Turtle Rock are the other required dungeons as crystals. So far in the cave formerly known as Hype Cave, we have a big 20. And what else? Another heart.
2 heart containers. Hookshot!
Oh, hookshot! And an arrow upgrade. All right, so hype-ish. I mean, the hookshot is very nice.
Light Hype Cave. I call that Light Hype Cave today.
Yeah, it was a healthy light hype. You know, you got 2 hearts, and I mean, these runners are really healthy already, as both runners now have the hook shot. So that is a really nice item, especially since Swamp Palace is required. That opens that up. All we need is the mirror and flippers, excuse me, and we have access to Swamp Palace, so it could be pretty early Swamp Palace depending on what items we find.
Indeed. SuperSkuj now going to head up to the pyramid and probably also check Catfish while he's there. See what he can find there. Zaen looks like he might be following suit, or at the very least making his way over to Pod. We'll see what they do. And yep, they're going up. So both of them are checking pyramid and possibly Catfish.
You know, I really like this routing. They have everything they need to complete Pod, minus the lamp, which is a... Ooh, silvers! Was that silvers?
Silvers!
All right.
That is a very nice find there. That means a lot of the tougher bosses later on that can use arrows on will be much easier to kill. Guys like Argus, Vitreous, and otherwise. So that will be good if they need to fight those bosses.
Very true. And yep, looks like SuperSkuj is going to head up to Catfish. Getting back to my thought before we found those silvers, this routing is really good because Pyramid and Catfish are really out of the way locations to check. Especially where they have not killed Aghanim. Oh, he's actually changing his mind. He's going to do the North Hyrule route, not Catfish. Okay.
He's probably going to wait until he has the mirror before he checks Catfish. That way he can route Zora into it, especially if he finds the flippers along the way. So I can see the logic there. Zaen, however, is going to check Catfish and get that out of the way. So this is one of those gambles that I like to talk about. You know, it's, with runners as good as these, it comes down to what gambles do you make and which ones pay off. So we'll see whose risk wins out in the end.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Gambles are huge at this level of the racing, but yeah, Pod. I was getting back to what I was talking about. Pod. It is actually, besides breaking the logic with Lamp, if you are comfortable in the dark rooms, they have everything they need to finish that dungeon. So that is something that's very interesting, especially where it is the green pendant.
Yep, and we found heart container on the bumper cave. Only triple bombs from the Catfish, so that did not pay off. And Skudge now making his way over to Skull Woods. He's going to find out there's 2 potential items in here. And version 26 has had a 45% chance of finding a progression item. That number has been reduced with version 27, but it is still a very lucrative place more often than not. So it's definitely not a bad idea to check this location when you can.
It's really not, and it's really does not take that long to check this first half of Skull Woods before you get to where Motul is. And there's one item, and we have our shield.
We got baby's first Fisher Price shield, but he is key locked at this point, so he's gonna have to go the long way around, which means going into this bottom room, which is guaranteed to have a small key, only because it's the only way to get out of the room. So, because you see the door closed, locks behind you. Ooh, that's a clever strat, using the hook shot to get past the spikes. I don't think I've seen that before.
Oh man, I've seen that a few times. I love it. I try it and I don't get it. I can't line it up right. But it is a fun one to watch. It's so nifty.
And there's our second item. So that's our 2 items for Skull Woods. Not paying out too heavily here, unfortunately, but he can go right out and he can go check Village of Outcast and of course Thieves Town, which is always a good spot. So we'll see what that has to offer. This seed has been it's been well paced, I'd say. It hasn't been completely denying them items, but it hasn't exactly been giving them at a rushed pace. So we'll see how that changes.
Yeah, they've been getting one progression item per entire location. So entire Kakariko, we got 1 progression item. Entire Eastern, we got 1 progression item. So everything's just kind of a really, like you said, well-paced, really spread out. So at this point, nothing too trolly, but it is a very slow-moving seed.
Yep, and of course, SuperSkuj now doing his quick map check. Gonna go ahead and go right into Thieves Town. Now I'm gonna check the rest of the Village of Outcast. We got 4 chests here in the front. One of them is guaranteed to have the big key. But what else will he find down here starting off? There's the compass right off the bat. So that means more of the items are going to be in the back end. And thankfully, they have the hammer.
Yeah,
so
I really like this path, this routing, because he has the hammer. He can full clear Thieves Town, and we get the flute. So that's actually really nice to find. If he finds the mirror, that'll be a great location. But back to my point, this is really good routing. He has the hammer, so he knows he can get everything out of this dungeon. This is the most efficient way to clear Village of Outcasts. As you go through from that top right location, you come down, go into Thieves Town, clear it out, hop out, and get everything else on your way out. So I really like this decision by SuperSkuj. It's really efficient since they do have the hammer.
And one thing I've seen with a lot of runs like this is that efficient routing like that can often be the difference maker. If you route yourself correctly, you save yourself a lot of double dipping, a lot of backtracking. There's the Cane of Brian. So that's all 4 items. They got the big key. They got the flute and the blue cane. So not a bad start there for Thieves Town. Let's see what else we can find here. He's going to check the back end. And Zaen now following suit. He's in Village of Outcast now. So let's see what he decides to do. Right, since it's a while before we see any items or anything like that, I want to take this early time to remind you folks, if you enjoy our runners here today, SuperSkuj and Zaen, please give them a follow on Twitch. They're working hard for your entertainment, so you don't want to miss out. All right, so SuperSkuj is now making his way up the Hellway. Zaen checking the bombable hut, only finding a piece of heart in there, so not much from that department. He's probably going to check the chess game, and then he's going to make his way into Thieves Town as well to find the flute and the cane and whatever else Skudge is about to find here shortly. All right, so Scud's now heading upstairs. He's going to check this chest here and then set up the blind hole. You need, of course, you need this hole opened up to bring the light in. There's the map. So not much on that regard.
But that does guarantee that there is an item inside of the big chest, because I believe we found the compass and now the map. So there's definitely an item on the big chest. So having that hammer early makes you not have to worry about finding anything later on or having to come back later.
It's something I've seen happen in a lot of runs where they've had to skip that big chest and it came back to haunt them later. So nice to know you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that chest it's not terribly far out of the way, but at the same time, it is such a long way to go for just one potential item that could be huge to the seed, and it could be completely nothing. So it's very nice that they have the hammer. Don't have to worry about it.
Yep, this guy's now making his way over to the maiden. He's going to grab the small chest there, which is guaranteed to be a small key at this point based on the logic. And then we will check that big chest. So let's see now. So the chest here, actually I think this is 2 items remaining. So I think we should still have a chance of finding both items here. One in the big chest, one on blind. Let's see what we find in here.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's just been the flute and the blue cane. So yeah, should be 2 items as we get just 20 rupees.
Big 20. So Scudge is going to take the maiden up. We're going to go fight blind, and we'll see what they have and get our first crystal of the run.
Yeah, first crystal, sub 30. Not too bad, especially with how slowly progressing the seed has been. So not a bad start to the seed in terms of crystals. It'll be interesting to see where they decide to go. They have the rest of Village of Outcast to check, so plenty of locations still to check.
And of course, blind with the pun of the day. An amateur skier often jumps to conclusions. All right then, so let's see how this blind fight goes. He's only got fighter sword. Doesn't really do much difference damage-wise, but gets a little less range. But he gets through it with no problem whatsoever. And gets the ice rod for his trouble.
All right, that is a nice find, especially where Turtle Rock is required. We know the ice rod will not be showing these runners. So at this point, we still have a few places that can troll. The Canis Amari could definitely be one, but that ice rod, finding that is really nice because that's one of the most trolly low items when it comes with Turtle Rock being required.
Yeah, because the ice rod could literally be anywhere aside from Trinex and Ganon's Tower. So having that now saves a lot of headaches. Checking the chest game, I think Zaen found that checked that earlier, but it was only a hard container. So he's going to check the south end, of course, the digging game, Old Stumpy, and a couple other places as well. And then probably go to activate his flute since that gives him a lot of access.
Yes, it does. And that opens up our Death Mountain, which we have not seen any yet. We have not had logical access to it until we got that flute. So it'll be interesting that at this point, oh, and actually we have hookshot, so it opens up a lot of Death Mountain.
Yep, absolutely. He thought about saving and quitting right there, but then he remembered, oh yeah, I got the south end of Dark World I can still check. Let me go ahead and do that.
Yeah, he's got at least 2 more locations, unless he does find a mirror. But at this point, he's got 2 more locations that he can check before really taking out of here. He might save and quit after this one and save the Stumpy for when he has the purple chest. It'll be interesting to see if that's what he decides to do. We get bombos.
3 digs for bombos. So that's our first medallion. We don't know which medallions are required yet. So we're not sure how valuable that is, but still getting bombos, that does open up Ice Palace a little bit more, making that a somewhat logical play later on. Of course, they're going to want to find the flippers, but Scudge is going to check Old Stumpy here real quick. Let's see what he finds. As Zaen now entering his blind fight, let's see if he does as good as Scudge did earlier. And Piece of Heart from Stumpy.
All right, yeah. So that bombos, like you said, it opens up a possible Ice Palace play if they find flippers and Titan's Mitts. I believe you need as well, correct? No.
Yeah, you need Titan's Mitts.
Oh, yes,
flipper.
you do.
Technically, you need flippers, but you can play fake flipper that. But you do need at least a fire weapon, whether it be the fire rod or bombos, and you need the Titan's Mitts to open up the portal. So,
yes.
But what he's going to do now is he's going to head over to Kakariko Village. Now he's going to activate his flute. So I don't know which audio is playing right now, but if it's on Scudge's, then everyone, I think it's time for you to rise because it's time for the Link to the Past National Anthem.
Yes, indeed. Looks like Zaen is following the footsteps of SuperSkuj. We'll pick up their bombos shortly and see if they go pick up their heart piece from Stumpy as well. And this is, so far, again, we're just getting kind of one item at a time. Nothing serious. Thieves Town did have a couple of really good ones. Even though flute may not be required in this seed, we do not know if we'll find a book that would require it for Desert Palace yet. But at this point, it's the seed again, just kind of keeping things very spread out. And Zaen does get their bombos, so yeah. This is the seed has gone really slow, as we've been talking about. SuperSkuj is doing a small sequence break, heading in to the old man to get their lamp. Without the lamp, this is a sequence break. Pretty easy dark rooms for people that are pretty comfortable with the randomizer. It's pretty straight. There is one place you got to be careful with. There is a hole that you can fall down. SuperSkuj does it very nicely, gets through cleanly. And the nice thing about this is it will also open a save point. And sorry about those noises. And nothing from the old man, just a piece of heart, if I am not mistaken. I think that's what I saw. And it looks like Zaen is going to follow suit and go and activate their flute over in Kakariko. And interesting to see if they follow path up into Death Mountain. I would imagine so. With the hookshot, there's a lot of available chests inside of Death Mountain. It gets them over there. They don't have access to Tower of Hera. Well, they do actually, excuse me. They didn't have access to go through the Tower of Hera route because they don't have mirror. But with hookshot, they are able to go get all these chests. We have 2 down here and 5 up above this location. So we'll see what is found here. Just some capacity upgrades so far. Nothing too exciting. And there are still plenty of options left in these chests right up here. And we, of course, have the rest of Death Mountain to check. SuperSkuj getting a little trolled by those mini Moldorms as we find just bombs, 300 rupees, 5 rupees, and piece of heart, and another piece of heart. So this seed is extremely healthy. They are 32 minutes in and they have 12 hearts. That is pretty crazy to how healthy this seed has been so far. We are getting an Agina's check from Zaen, and SuperSkuj getting a really nice bomb jump across that gap there, making it a little bit quicker to get to the top of Death Mountain, not having to drop down, as Zaen just gets 1 green rupee. All that work for a green rupee. Alright, on top of the floating island was just 3 bombs, so won't ever see our runners going for that. And they don't have access to the Dark Death Mountain at this point, since they do not have Titansmiths, so we won't be able to see Dark Death Mountain access. But Zaen is going to check, half magic on Spectacle Rock. That is not bad, and a really not a bad place to actually have to go get it either. Once they get the mirror, would not be too terribly hard to route that in for that nice item. Not required, but very nice, as we get the flippers in Tower of Hera. So this definitely, now Zora and all the items that Zora has are open to our runners, which neither runner has been to yet, as well as the hobo. So we got some options open now that we found those flippers. We'll see if this is locked by a fire source, and it is. All right, so no fire source. Tower of Hera needs a fire source to be able to complete. The big key will be in the basement, so runners will have to make their way back into Tower of Hera. That is brutal. And SuperSkuj, before they're heading out of Death Mountain, is going to do the long and boring spiral cave without boots. This is such a long and arduous walk when you don't have boots. You go round and round and round and hopefully find something important. Otherwise, it's a really big waste of time. Zaen did find out that it was just 20 rupees inside of Spectacle Rock, so nothing there, but we do have that half magic. So I would be surprised if neither runner goes after that once they get mirror on their way up, even if they wait until they get to Ganon's. It's not a bad location, not too hard, not too out of the way. and it really makes a lot of things easier. It's just 20 rupees in Spiral Cave. So Death Mountain, again, one item that really progressed the seed. The seed is gone very slow. It gives him one item, now go do a few things. Another one item, no, go do a few things. So we'll see. SuperSkuj is going to check the inside of Spectacle Rock since they did not go this way. And they will find out it's just a big 20 and head out. We'll likely be seeing them. I think that they go and head and do the Zora check. So you now have all the access to all that stuff with the flippers. And as we mentioned earlier, Ice Palace is an option since they have that fire source with the bombos, which will kill all the items and unfreeze Cold Stare. All right, so Zaen making their way through Dark Death Mountain, going to try to set up the same bomb jump, but falls. Not too terrible. It does just add a few extra seconds to your climb. You have to climb back up Death Mountain. They will do that here, and it looks like SuperSkuj is heading down to the south. We'll see. This actually, Swamp Palace is another location that's actually open. I did not notice until just now. So that is another place they can go, but SuperSkuj is going to take this warp up to the Witch area. This is a nice little warp that you don't see used too frequently. It takes you right next to the Witch. Alright, we still have not seen the mushroom, so won't be able to turn that in quite yet, but going to be able to get into the Zora area. This is another way that they have access. You just need power gloves to be able to lift that rock, and they will be able to go in and make the long trek. It's kind of curious that they didn't decide to take the flute to 8 and jump in that way and use the portal there. It would have been a much quicker way of going about the same pattern, or the same routing. Zaen picks up their flippers, and we'll shortly find out that Tower of Hera basement is required, and they do not have a lamp or fire rod to access it and be able to get the big chest down there. So at this point, we'll see what this has. And then there's the Titan's Mitts and Red Mail. Wow, okay. So this is a big item. So if either of these runners had decided to sequence break earlier on, that could have been a really big advantage. They would have had Titan's Mitts, which makes getting into Dark World, especially through Kakariko Village, much quicker. All right, and so Zane's going to do their long trek through the Spiral Cave as SuperSkuj heads to Zora. We will see if this is another life lesson. The way the seed is going, I'm guessing there's absolutely nothing on Zora. That's just the way the seed's going to be. Maybe another heart piece, because super healthy seed with one item per location area, and we've already gotten our Titan's Mitts, so we're not going to see anything else. Well, I mean,
you say that.
You don't know yet, so that could be important. At this point, we have no idea what medallions are in either Misery Mire or Turtle Rock. So we will see where SuperSkuj heads now, but Zora was definitely the play. That area had the Titan's Mitch, which is a very nice item and it opens up a lot of locations.
Yep, sorry about that. Finally got my situation worked out here. So, Zaen now gonna head down. SuperSkuj now that he's got the flippers and the Titan's Mitts, he's gonna head over check the hobo, looks like. I'm gonna find out what's happening there.
All right, so Zaen did take the flute down to the south of Hyrule. He's gonna use this warp, likely head up to Zora. Probably check hobo first is what it looks like, which is where SuperSkuj is heading. They did not do that earlier since they took the other route to get there through Witch's area, lifting the rock. And the hobo has
just a big 20.
So nothing too exciting there. That's Zaen will find out very shortly and likely head straight over to Zora after this, where they will pick up their Titan's Mitts and Red Mail. So super healthy seed as well as pretty well protected. They got the Red Mail. That's pretty nice. So SuperSkuj getting those Titan's Mitts is going to head, and we're going to get our first Mire check.
This ought to be interesting. This is our first hit. We got 2 of the medallions. Is there one of those 2 needed for Misery Mire? Let's find out. What do we have? And Ether.
Mire is Ether. So at this point, that Ether is still not something that's hugely required. but we don't know yet. We don't know if Meyer is going to be required. It is just a pendant, I believe, the red pendant. So at this point, we don't know if ether is extremely important. It could still be on Turtle Rock as the required medallion, but we don't know. Inside the shed was just, I believe it was a heart piece and 20 rupees. So nothing too exciting there. SuperSkuj takes off. That's all you can check there at that point. Not really feeling like going into Meyer at this point, and I do not blame him. You don't even have cane, so you couldn't finish it if you did. Heading right back up to Death Mountain, we'll now be able to check Dark Death Mountain as well as the medallion requirement for Turtle Rock.
Should be super interesting here to see how that plays out. Let's see what else we can find along the way. A lot, you know, this race, like I said earlier, this is a very well-paced race. It's probably one of the first well-paced races I've commentated. Most of mine ended up being what I like to call shade seas. A lot of items early on and that one item that just continues to troll them, but we're not getting that here today. All right, so Skudge now going to work his way up Dark Death Mountain here. Going to check the Super Bunny Cave and the Hookshot Cave. So plenty of items to check here. A lot of potential. What will we find along this route? We got 50 rupees and 10 bomb upgrade. Not much there. So let's see what Turtle Rock's going to give us here. Is he going to check that, or is he going to go right to the hookshot? He's going right to the hookshot cave. And let's see what we find in here. We got a 5-bomb upgrade to start things off. We have, oh, big 20. Another big 20. And another big 20. Nothing here. All right, and Quake looks like, yep, Quake was needed for Turtle Rock, which is the one medallion we do not have. So it looks like we're still in the hunt for a medallion here. And Skudge going to check the Spike Cave, it looks like. This is going to be interesting. He's got the Cane of Burna, he's got the hammer, he's got enough magic and health, so this is a good time to play it. Meanwhile, Zaen going to make the play on Ice Palace. A bit risky with only Fighter Sword and Bombos, but if this pays off, this could be big. And just 50 rupees in the Spike Cave, unfortunately. So it looks like it's Ice Palace might be the way to go. So let's see what Zaen finds in here. Zaen using the Bombos medallion again to take those ducks out as quickly as possible and finds 300 rupees. We'll see how this plays out here for our runners. And SuperSkuj, where is he going? What play is he making here? He can't do much that I can tell. All right, looks like he might be making the play on Pod, it looks like, actually. Interesting. Pod being green pendant. That's iffy, but tempting. All right, then. So Zaen making his way through Ice Palace. We're going to see what he finds here shortly. Meanwhile, Skudge making his way up to Pod, and he's going to be paying a visit to everyone's favorite little extortionist, Kiki the monkey. It's 110 rupees plus down the drain, depending on whether or not he gets through without taking any hits. And Zaen now executing the infamous Ice Palace Bun Jump. She gets it first try every time. Nicely done. Hook shots across. We'll see whose gamble pays off here. right now. Both our runners hitting into major areas. Skudge heading up into Palace of Darkness. Thankfully, he's got most of what he needs here, aside from the lamp, which only means a couple dark rooms to be an issue. Zane's still not finding anything of importance yet. Very quick hookshot room for Zane. Gonna make it through here without too much trouble. So much potential. Let's talk pedestal hype for a minute while we're waiting on a couple items. Fire Rod, very possible, seeing as though none of the required dungeons need it. Keen of Samaria, no, because you need that for Misery Mire. Mirror is still a very good possibility. Maybe Book of Medora, because they need that for Desert if they don't find the mirror. It's not a heavy amount of pedestal hype here, admittedly. Or it could be the Quake. Yeah, Quake or Boots could also be there. So, pedestal hype index is meh at best. Yep, there's the mirror in Ice Palace. Zane finding the mirror. So he made the right call going to the Ice Palace at this point. Nice find. Oh, that is interesting. So we'll see here. SuperSkuj making his way through what Dr. Bob Tastic has labeled the Mullet Mansion, since all the keys are in the front and all the items are in the back. So yeah, Mullet Mansion. Business in the front, party in the back. Let's see what else Zane finds in there. There's the big key. Ladriel, we can confirm at least one of the swords is in the Lumberjack Cave, so that particular route, that particular trolling ain't gonna happen, but the rest of them could be in those locations. We should see. There's a piece of heart there. Still not finding much. All right. Skudge now going to make his way further into Palace of Darkness and find what he finds along the way. Zane on his way to Cold Stare. All right, Zane using his Bombos medallion immediately to get Cold Stare taken out. He's going to rely on swings and hammer strats to get through there. Oh, we got Master Sword! SuperSkuj finding Master Sword in Palace of Darkness. All right, SuperSkuj now going to check the dark rooms here. He might have a hard time seeing what he finds, but if he finds anything good, there's the compass. And there's a small key, so that gives him the remaining small keys that he needs to find. He's probably going to check the dark maze, one of the more difficult dark rooms to do in the game, since, you know, unless you know where you're going, it can be very difficult to navigate that room. Zane finally taking out Cold Stare there and gets just a small key for his troubles. SuperSkuj with the bomb jump there, and Pod gets big 20 for his troubles, and now he's going to have to navigate the dark room on his way back out. Going to rely on his charging his Master Sword here in order to navigate so he knows where he's going. Could not see what he just got. Oh, he got Quake! He got the Quake medallion! Zaen now going to double dip into Ice Palace because he did not open a couple of chests, which is going to cost him here, unfortunately. So that's going to take some extra time for him. And SuperSkuj got the last item. He's going to save and quit out. He is not going to complete it because it's a pendant dungeon. Though I would have considered doing it anyway because it is a green pendant. Sahasala may have something. But we'll see how that goes here. And it looks like SuperSkuj now going to make the play on Ice Palace as well.
Hey there guys, hope that you can hear me alright. This is In the Name of DT, just stepping in from behind the restream. Apparently our commentators are having Discord issues. So, I'm gonna lend my voice for a few minutes until they come back. Hopefully they do. Discord's been a lot of people. So it's been a great race so far, as you've seen. Both runners in Ice Palace at the moment. Did see a cold stare finish with the hammer. Difficult fight. The hitbox on the hammer's a bit wonky.
There we go.
Welcome back, Shades. How you doing?
Doing all right.
It's been one of those days for everyone on internet land, hasn't it?
It's Discord is what it is, but nonetheless, we're here. We're back in this.
And you got back just in time to see Zaen get the fire rod from the freezer room. How about that?
Knew he left something behind.
Yeah, they have
I had
that
a
double
feeling he left
freezer
something
room. It's an easy one to forget if you just happen to jump down that hole or just route the dungeon a little bit differently. Contradictory. Let's see where Zane's going to head next. I would suspect over to the Skull Woods area.
Would make sense, you know, even though they found both the items, Skull Woods is a crystal dungeon, and having that fire run now, he can finish that up, so definitely not a bad play to make.
Maybe take a couple minutes along your path as well, try and figure out exactly what your options are afterward, knowing come up with a nice, concise plan.
Though admittedly, that double dip into Ice Palace is going to cost him a bit of time. This could give Skuj a chance to take the lead here, so hopefully he can round himself efficiently enough to make this work.
Yeah, we'll see. I would still say it's one's game. There's a cover. Still looking for a few choice items as well.
Yep, always the elusive big red cane.
Nice to see Skuj using a low percent strat on bombs, and that takes that.
Zaen now working his way through, getting that key there for Skull Woods. Get through very quickly. We'll see. SuperSkuj is going to make sure he's going to check that freezer room now. Let's make sure he gets that fire rod. He's going to be very happy to find that.
So the logic definitely requiring bombos in any way, shape, or form.
That is cruel considering that they don't have half magic right now, so that's a lot of magic they're wasting just to get through this dungeon. That is actually rather mean when you think about it.
It can be. If you know where to look, though, the Ice Palace does have a good amount of magic. No, depending on prize pools. I've had situations where those penguins will drop like, several full magic containers. And that's a huge, huge help.
Zaen having to play a little careful there. He wasted a few of his fire rod shots, almost ran out of magic there, but thankfully he got through. He gets on here. He's going to be heading off to Mothula here shortly. Going to be tricky with only Fighter Sword because he did not pick up the Master Sword in Pod. Or, yeah, what's a Pod? Yeah, Pod. So he's going in here with just just fighter sword. That'll be tricky, especially with as low magic as he has. He's gonna have to play really careful here.
Right, the master sword that Skudge picked up was in the first turtle room of the Palace of Darkness, I believe. I know that there was another one in the Lumberjack Cave, but no real idea of where that fourth one could be. It could theoretically be anywhere. We have a requirement to beat the game, so it almost doesn't even matter.
Indeed, and Zaen still managed to pull off a pretty good fight with Mothula. Gets his third crystal, or fourth crystal. So nicely done there. So what is Zane's next play? Because right now he could do, let's see, we've got Swamp Palace is accessible right now because he has everything he needs to clear that. Of course, he can do Desert because he's got the Mirror and Flute. He's got Tower of Hera he can do. So a lot of dungeons are available to him right now. And it looks like he might be making the play on Swamp. Or maybe not. Maybe he's going to make me a liar.
Although, now that we have the Mirror, we could see our first dip into Desert. Whether or not the boots are going to be required.
I think that's what he's going for now. He's going to probably check the checkerboard cave real quick while he's over here and then head into Desert. That would be the play I'd make.
No, I would agree with that. We know that Misery Mire is accessible at this point, but that's not a dungeon that people are at the Cane of Some. Aside from the fact that it's a time-consuming, have the key item to finish. Not a place that's high up on people's. Heading into the Desert Palace. Crystal, the boots would be the only thing in it as well.
And even that's not entirely possible. That may not be necessarily necessary. Depends on what's in this torch room here. What do we find?
Oh, there you go, then.
$50, so no. No boots needed here.
Not for this place, at least. There's always speculation for the Ganon's Tower big, although that's a very, very slim chance.
Yep,
at this point, the boots are not that we know of.
Yep, you got the big key, but given everything else, we know that the big chest is going to have a small key because he does not have access to that right side room. So we know what's expected at this point. It's just a matter of what two items those rooms hold. All right, SuperSkuj starting his fight with Colseer. He's a little better off because he has Master Sword at least, and he still has his Fire Rod, so he's in a much better shape to take this guy out. We'll see how he goes from there. Zaen not even checking right side. He's going right for Land Mollusk.
An interesting play. Did Zaen happen to check Agnes Cave earlier?
No, he did not. I don't believe he did.
I could kind of suspect then that we'll see him go back into the right side of Desert Palace and then head out that bottom exit. The only problem with that would be the risk of skipping.
We shall see how that plays out. SuperSkuj now picking up his next crystal from Cold Stare. The lead technically goes to Zaen right now since he's going to be picking up his fourth crystal here shortly. So that double dip into Ice Palace not hurting him too much, thankfully.
And now we welcome back Sir Laugh-A-Lot. Discord has been an issue for a lot of people today, so apologies all around. Great to stop in for a couple minutes though, guys. Enjoy the rest of the race.
Thank you there, DT.
Yeah, thank you, DT, for filling in. I missed a few things. I had some issues, but it looks like we've got some nice progression.
Yeah, they've just finished up Ice Palace. They have Flippers and Titan's Mitts. They got the Fire Rod. They just got the Quake Medallion. Like, they found a lot of stuff recently.
Yeah, that time away. Wow, they got a Master Sword. It looks like for SuperSkuj, Mirror, some nice items. So, all right. Crystal for Zaen, and that is the second of the 5-6, I believe. No, Tower Hera.
No, that is Tower Hera is Crystal 5.
So that is not, but that's still nice, making progress on those crystals. So very nice. So it looks like the last item we're looking for are boots required and the torch?
No. Zaen already completed Desert Palace because the boots were not required, but he did not check the right side because for some reason after he got the big key and then opened up the small key in the big chest, he was like, you know what, screw it, let's just go straight to Land Mollusk. And he's gonna check this side and probably grab back at his cave on the way out.
believe Zaen did check Agana's cave when you were having your issues with Discord. So, and it was just a piece of heart or something like that. Nothing important down there. So, looks like both items have been found in Desert Palace then.
Looks that way. Is it just got $50 there? And actually, no, I don't think both items were checked. Because Landlords dropped the map.
There was 50 items on the torch, or excuse me, 50
oh,
rupees
the
on the
50
torch.
bucks on the torch. Yeah, you're right.
All right, so feeling a little bit more caught up. So at this moment, boots will not necessarily be required for this seed. It could be that Schrodinger's go mode, depending on if that 4% chance of boots being on, or the big key being on the torch if we never find boots. And where was SuperSkuj's Master Sword?
That was in Pod.
Okay.
So it looks like Zaen is going to make the play on Swamp Palace now. Not a bad call to make at this point. Now's the right time to do it. You've got everything to clear it. There's a lot of good items in there, but he just forgot. He forgot to drain the dam.
Oh man, I've done that a few times. Getting intense moments. You're like, oh, they're an hour in. You're kind of like, okay, I don't have everything I need. Am I behind? Am I ahead? And you start kind of getting a little bit more anxious and thinking about it more, and so you start making little things like that kind of mess you up. Oh, did SuperSkuj just mirror out?
Uh-oh.
He just mirrored back to the beginning of the boss section of Desert Palace. So he has to go back through a few things. He was killing those squids.
All the runners just slipping up all over the place here. Wow.
little mistakes here and there. They had time, and so both runners making little mistakes, and I'm sure the nerves are getting to them.
It really feels that way with this race, because they've been doing this all day long now. Just accidental double dips for having to go back through areas that they should have already checked. Let's see what Zaen finds here. Triple bombs in the first chest of Swamp Palace.
Yeah, a few occasions where both of them have gone somewhere, then went back, and then went back to the same place again. Just little mental errors that they're making right now. Otherwise, their execution when they come down to the boss fights and actually doing things has been pretty good.
Come on, Zaen, pick up the key.
That was a really good Lammeless fight. Almost got the one cycle, missed the very first shot with the fire rod, but was able to clean up Lammeless pretty well.
Now, we know at some point Zane's going to have to dip into Pod because that's where Quake is hiding. So hopefully he remembers to route that in at some point. It's a crystal dungeon, or it's a pendant dungeon, but it also is green pendant, so that might tempt him to full clear it. SuperSkuj did not do that, though. So if Sir Hassela has anything, that could come back to haunt him later.
Yeah, that is actually kind of interesting, especially where he has not finished Eastern. He could have easily killed the Helmosaur King, and then mirrored right in and finished Armosites and turned in that green pendant all at the same time. So, I'm assuming he got all 5 items out of Pod?
Pretty much. I think that's the only reason he mirrored out. Zaen finding the red shield in Swamp Palace there, so we've got our second shield upgrade. We might be seeing a riot shield this run.
Yeah, very, very well. That's we're 1 shield away from that. Plenty of places it can be. And we are also, that is 2 of the items, excuse me, that's 2 of the 6 items out of Swamp Palace so far.
Okay, and Skud's gonna make the gamble on Misery Mire. That is interesting.
That is very interesting. He is hoping for a vanilla location for that Cane of Samaria. That is quite the gamble.
But then again, if it pays off, this could help put him in the lead. If he can get the Cane of Samaria, because that means Turtle Rock will be much easier for him, and it'll take longer for Zaen to pick that up.
That is a very good point, and that he does have a Master Sword, so if he gets the Cane of Samaria, that I believe would be go mode with the possibility of needing boots.
All right, Zaen now finishing up the left side of Swamp Palace. Let's see what else he finds over there. You know, 2 more items over on this side, and then, of course, there's several items in the back. A lot of potential here. Again, we've only found 2 out of the 6 items thus far. What else will we find here? Das Boots! What are those?
All right, so for Zaen, he will not have to worry about that possible and a cane.
Someone call Phantom Ryu, because that's gotta be Kane.
Oh wow! So Swamp Palace. So now we know that SuperSkuj is going to be doing a whole lot of not good for himself in this dungeon. The only possible thing that can make this somewhat worthwhile is the 4th and final sword upgrade, since we do know one is behind Lumberjack Cave.
Oh, Zaen just took a huge lead with this play.
That is a very huge lead, and he is a sword upgrade away from go mode, and we know that one is in pod, which is, since it's a pendant, he may not go in there for quite some time at least.
Yeah, but still, the advantage is this is big. Oh, this just got interesting very fast here. It depends on where that last sword upgrade is, because if he finds it along the way, it's game over. But
oh, for sure. If it's either here in Swamp or in Turtle Rock, which my guess is where he goes next, he's been doing crystals and has been kind of avoiding the pendants except for Eastern early, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes straight for Turtle Rock after this.
Turtle Rock or Tower of Hair, either one of those with the last 2 crystals he's got left. So this will be interesting.
That is correct.
Oh, and actually, no, he has to go. No, wait, he has to go into pod because the Quake medallion's in there.
Oh, good. Yes. And he if I believe he has not been up to Turtle Rock yet to check and see that requirement, correct?
I don't remember for sure. I know one of them has. But if Zaen goes into pod, that he's going to have to go into pod eventually. So he will be in go mode once he gets there. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, that is a good point. Having missed that, I totally forgot that Quake was in there, so that is a very big thing. So even though he now has quite the advantage having boots and Cane of Samaria, it is in a crystal dungeon, so we know that SuperSkuj will be going in there at some point, and my guess is after Meyer. We will see where he decides to go. Looks like he's probably going to full clear Meyer. I believe we've only gotten 1 item, and it was the heart piece. I think he still has the big chest left to check.
Now we're going to play a little game of Menu Simulator 2017 here, as Zaen is switching between his hook shot and his hammer to take out those puffballs.
That is quite the thumb workout for your left thumb. Your thumb's constantly switching between those items back and forth, and it is a slow process, but with the hammer at least it's manageable.
Part of me almost feels bad for SuperSkuj because he took a big gamble going into Meyer thinking there'd be something here, and it turned out to be a complete bust. He found absolutely nothing in there, while Zaen went ahead on the logic and went to Swamp Palace, and it paid off in spades for him on this one.
The nice thing is that both items were found before Vitreous, so he did not have to continue in to all the way and kill Vitreous, so that will save him some time. But that gamble not going into Swamp, which is really interesting because it's a crystal dungeon and you have full access to clear it. I am kind of surprised that he's not going in there when it's a crystal.
Wait, which dungeon? Misery Mire? Because Misery Mire is a pendant.
Yeah, and so he went into Misery Mire as a pendant instead of Swamp as a crystal. The only thing I can think of is that he's hoping that he can go mode Swamp Palace. That's the only thing I can think of, which we know that he will not be able to, but he doesn't know that. I don't know why you wouldn't go into a crystal before a pendant, especially a full clear crystal versus a possible clear pendant.
Yeah, that was a bit of a risk, and like we said, it backfired on him. So he's heading up to Spectacle. So Zaen now heading up to Spectacle Rock. He's probably going to be taking the Tower of Hera play here shortly.
Most likely picking up their half magic, easy routing on the way. Like I said earlier, like I would be surprised if they didn't route it this way, and especially where Tower of Hera ended up not being able to complete their first round up. It just makes sense to pick it up on the way, and that's exactly what Zaen does.
SuperSkuj is going to work on some overworld locations here. He's going to check out the Peg Cave, and he's got Jeremiah in tow, so you're going to be able to save him there. That we're going to find much, though. Just a 5-arrow upgrade. And Zaen going to work on the basement here in Tower of Hera, so we got some coffee break strats coming.
So exactly what he sets up and gets it very nicely. And to answer somebody in chat, Pod would definitely be a better check than Meyer, especially since they're both pendants, and especially since it is green pendant. Plenty more options, possible item locations there. This would be for Zaen, who is only looking for Quake and a possible sword upgrade, which both we know are in Pod. So that would definitely, not only from our perspective, be a better play, but from Zane's perspective as well, that checking Pod over Meyer is usually a more lucrative option, especially where you can full clear Pod if necessary.
And SuperSkuj's now going to turn in the purple chest here. Again, we don't expect to find much out of this. It's most likely going to be a fetch quest item, if anything at all.
Yeah,
that's all that's left that we don't know about.
His only hope is that it gets him Tempered Sword at some point. That's the one thing we don't know. Oh, the lamp.
There's the lamp.
I mean, this... Go ahead.
I was just going to the chat was like, hey, I wonder where the lamp is hiding. Well, ask a silly question.
And the funny thing about that is they've already done almost every dark room possible except for Turtle Rock, so it's not saving them a whole lot of dark rooms. Depending on if Zaen heads there or not, it will. But yeah, that's a very late lamp, and especially where both runners have already. Well, I guess Zaen has not done Pod dark rooms, but SuperSkuj has.
So Zaen now going to take on Trolldorm, while SuperSkuj turns in the purple chest, gets a blue rupee for his trouble. That was a bust.
Oh, Trolls!
And that's why we call him Trolldorm, ladies and gentlemen.
That is exactly why he knocked you so far. And oh man. All right, so it looks like SuperSkuj is making the play on Swamp Palace, which is a great play. And, you know, now that he's done that, I've seen him do that, his routing actually does make sense. Check a few overworld locations on your way to the Crystal. You know, I still would have done all that before Meyer. Just, again, completable Crystal versus maybe completable Pendant.
And there's the Book of Medora from Moldorm. So he probably didn't even check the Ether Tablet on the way. Maybe try to see if you can find that last sword upgrade.
Yes, that is not a bad place to get it since you are right next to Ether Tablet. There will not be a better time to check that tablet than now. He is only, again, looking for a sword upgrade, so...
but he's ignoring it. He's not checking the Ether Tablet.
Now, do you need a Master Sword to actually check?
Yes, you do.
Yes,
but you can read the tablet to see if you need one.
Yeah. That is a good... Oh!
Dead rock!
Oh, man, those things are so aggravating, and they're sporadic, and when they freeze, it's just, they're stuck, and they are in your way, and you just want, like, you can't kill them, ever. It's so annoying.
That's why I call them the unofficial mascots of the Randomizer, because they are the trolliest enemies in the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, Trolldorm has the name Trolldorm, but that's just because of his sporadic movements and knocking you off the ledge. Those dead rocks are definitely the trolliest things in this game, the trolliest enemies.
Absolutely. Zaen now going to head into the Hookshot Cave. We know there's not going to be anything worth in here, but he's got the knowledge now that he needs the Quake Medallion, so he's going to be continuing his search. Really, I think the only two places he has left are Pod and Meyer. Which gamble does he take? Hopefully he takes Pod, but he's got the ability to full clear both now, so either one of them looks tempting.
That is very true. And again, I mean, if you're looking for one item, I would go to pod. You have more possibility of item, and I mean, looking at this objectively, that's what I would do. I'd go to pod first. It's even if you do have to do a lot, it feels like a quicker dungeon. It feels like you're moving places and getting things done. And so I would do pod well over Mire, especially where it is the green pendant. I would pick green pendant possibility over red pendant. But we'll see what Zaen does decide to do. There's still plenty of options. He does have a lot of overworld locations to check. That was our first dwarfs and purple chest check, so it'll be interesting to see if Zaen decides to do that kind of stuff before heading into a dungeon.
And Zaen he's debating. He's like, do I do hook? Do I do spike cave, or do I do ether tablet? He's gonna do ether tablet.
Yeah, he is gonna get that knowledge. Again, you cannot access the item, but you can read what it is, and it is
the mushroom. Hashtag fetch quest.
That is never the information you want to get.
No, that's the worst. Because then you're like, then you don't know what worth it actually is.
However, in Zane's case, at this point, that's actually not bad because he knows that all he needs is a Master Sword to be able to full clear the game, to kill Ganon, and that's all he needs to win. Oh, wait, no, excuse me, Quake. I keep forgetting he doesn't have Quake.
Yep. So we'll see how that plays out. Zayn now going to check the Spike Cave. We know that's not going to have anything of worth because that was just the 50 rupees there. So he's saving and quitting. Which way does he go next?
Sanctuary is where he's spawning into. Oh, he just got boots and he has not checked King's Tomb and stuff. That is, again, overworld location checks, not a bad idea. If he does find a sword here, that could actually be bad for him.
And it's just a piece of heart.
All right, so we are just missing the Quake and a sword upgrade for Zayn for Go mode, which we know both are found in Pod, so we know that's where Zayn needs to head. SuperSkuj, once he kills Argus, will likely head back in and check the left side. They did not do that earlier, where they will find Boots and Canis and Mario, which will put them in Go mode.
Indeed. 5 bomb upgrade from the Bonk Cave, not much there. SuperSkuj needs to go back and do the left side of Swamp, so he needs to finish that up. Where is Zayn going next?
If he goes to Pod, this is a race, and that is exactly where he's going.
We have a race!
Oh yeah, this is going to be a really close race. Zayn will have the advantage of having killed Armos Knights, having found the bow before going into Eastern. This should be a pretty close race. They are pretty close in crystals. Although actually Zayn has Skull Woods as well as Tower of Hera, so he's actually.
Wait a minute. Did Skudge not check? Oh, this could be bad.
He forgot left side.
Oh no! He remembered his cane.
It looks like he remembered. He didn't check left side. Yes, he's redoing everything.
That could have been very, very bad.
Yes, it would have been very bad. But going back to the crystal count, Zayn definitely has the advantage in crystals. All he has left is Turtle Rock, though the 2 crystals that SuperSkuj will be needing after this are pretty quick. Zayn will definitely have the advantage at this point, though a minor one.
All right, so Zayn now working his way through Pod. SuperSkuj making his way to the left side of Swamp Palace. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to remind you folks, if you are enjoying our runners, SuperSkuj and Zayn, give them a follow on Twitch. Show them your support. They've definitely been busting their butts for this one.
Yes, they have, and the seed is just. I mean, most items were found one at a time. The seed did not want to give them a very lucrative location at all. There's a few places that had 2 items, but it was a very, very slow, methodical seed.
It was definitely. Oh man, this seed has been holding out on them the entire time.
Yes, it has. All right, so SuperSkuj will be getting their boots and Kana Samaria very shortly. Meanwhile, Zaen finally switching over to the silver arrows. I noticed that he had not done that earlier. I watched a race one time where they'd gotten silvers in the bow, and he forgot to switch. The racer forgot to switch silvers on normal sights and went through the whole thing and realized that after the fact that he had not switched to silvers.
I think I saw that. I remember seeing something like that.
That was pretty comical. He just threw sword slashes after killing him. He's like, ah. And that is the beauty of randomizers, that kind of stuff. You don't get anything in a pattern, so sometimes you might forget that you have an item, especially powder mushroom or flute shovel if it gets buried behind the other one, because they share the same menu location. So you gotta switch between the two. So sometimes if you get flute late and you got the shovel right after, you might forget that you have flute. I have seen that happen a few times.
SuperSkuj now picking up his boots, gonna head over to the other side, and he's gonna be very surprised with what he finds in that other chest.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is go mode for SuperSkuj.
Ah man, you gotta do it right. Ladies and gentlemen, SuperSkuj has officially entered go mode!
I don't have the enthusiasm as you do on that. That was much better than mine. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, so SuperSkuj now will be able to quickly clean up their final crystals before heading to Turtle Rock. Again, these are 2 relatively quick crystals to get. You'll be able to head straight to Mothula, not worrying about any items. They already have them anyways. And then Tower Hera, though you do have to do basement and tile room, will take time. Otherwise, you will be able to go through the dungeon relatively quickly, and he will already be mostly up the Death Mountain climb. So this should be a really close race going into Turtle of Rock.
Indeed.
And I just said Turtle of Rock, yes.
I was gonna say.
It is the Rock and Turtles. All right, picking up that key there for SuperSkuj, be able to go right into Mothfield, make this a much quicker dungeon, and then most likely will pick up their half magic again on the way to Tower Hera. That half magic placement was very kind to them. A little tease, couldn't get it earlier, but knowing that they would be easy to get later on.
Yeah, they're gonna need that half magic for Total Rock, given all the stuff they need to do there. It's always nice to have that for, and it'd be preferable if they had it for Ice Palace, but having it for Turtle Rock at the very least will be a nice little send off.
Oh, for sure, especially where they only have Master Sword. If you have Master Sword and regular magic on Trinix, you have to be on point with everything. You cannot miss sword slashes. You cannot miss rod usage. It is a close thing. And also, we need to also mention that Zaen is now in go mode. How was that?
Oh, not bad.
I was thinking about it too much. I was trying to compete. And wait, Zaen has Tempered Sword.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, he does. When did he get the sword upgrade?
Was that in the dark room in Pod?
Then how did? You know what? I bet Skudge missed that one chest in the dark maze.
Oh my goodness!
He didn't get all the chests in the dark maze, and he didn't get.
Oh man, that is huge, especially since Zaen does have an advantage already by being just slightly ahead, a couple minutes maybe. That is going to be very big down the road. He will be able to go through Trinix so much quicker with that Tempered Sword. And then Ganon, we don't know. We know where one of the other sword upgrades are, and it's in Lumberjack, which they will not be getting. So that 4th sword upgrade, at this point, Zaen has a massive advantage with that Tempered Sword.
Absolutely. This is huge for Zaen. Skudge now making his way up to Tower Hera, getting dead rocked all on the way. That's the last thing he needed right now.
That is for sure. That is wow. Okay, so that is a big. So there was 2 sword upgrades in Pod then. So Pod looking like it was the most lucrative of dungeons and item locations. There was 2 required and a 3rd very nice addition.
That also makes it easier for Zaen to get through to go mode this because he doesn't have to worry about going too far out of his way. He won't have to check near as many chests. He just has to find the big key and grab just enough small keys to get through, and he will be able to go mode this dungeon. Turtle Rock's one of those dungeons that's hard to go mode, but needs to be done. And SuperSkuj opting to go straight to Turtle Rock. He is going to hold off Tower of Hera and make that his final dungeon.
You know, I mean, as far as like placements, jumping a little bit too far off, but as far as placements, that's actually it's the best way to end on Tower of Hera, because then it's just once you're done, bam, you're right there. But this means he most likely will be missing out on half magic, which is interesting. He clearly comfortable enough without it, but that is going to make his Trinex fight that much harder, which I am surprised that he did not decide to pick up the half magic on his way to Tower of Hera. Even Turtle Rock, because it is with Master Sword, it's going to take a long time. Maybe he's hoping he finds a sword upgrade inside of Turtle Rock.
Well, we know he won't, so that's going to bite him.
Yeah, because we know that last sword upgrade is in the Lumberjack Cave. Oh man, that is crazy big that Zaen got that Temper Sword in Pod, where SuperSkuj had been quite some time before.
All right, so both our runners now making their way through Turtle Rock. Again, we know there's not going to be much found here. It's just a matter of finding keys and getting through. So they're going to be skipping a lot here. The only thing they can honestly find here of any worth is the riot shield. That's it.
Yeah, maybe the powder as just a safety, but both of them would simply just be safety items. There is nothing that's really going to make the Ganon fight easier, and especially since we know SuperSkuj will not be finding another sword. So yeah, there is nothing left inside in this race that would really benefit either runner.
You can see Zaen just blazing through Turtle Rock right now, skipping the Mimic Cave, skipping the big chest, doesn't need to check anything. He knows he's in go mode. He is just rushing through at full speed.
Yep, he knows he's in go mode. He knows he will not find another sword. He has half magic. Again, there's nothing that he needs to be looking for to make his life easier even. I mean, the Mirror Shield is really the most useful on Laser Bridge, which depending on keys, it looks like he might need to go in there to look for a key. But, I mean, he's probably, I imagine, pretty proficient with the laser skips, especially having the boots.
Absolutely. The only difference is he doesn't have the lamp, so he has to go through this dark room without it, but this is not a hard dark room to do. If you know the routing, if you know the path of this conveyor. So he gets through without any trouble. So let's see let's see what's on the laser bridge. How many chests does he have to check before he finds that key?
3.
There's
Hey,
the powder. Second chest. Big 20. Careful. Third chest.
Oh!
You called it. You called it there, Laugh-A-Lot.
I got something right today.
You do better than I do when it comes to calling key locations.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when it comes to the real key location game here in a few minutes. All right. So SuperSkuj is making their way. They are go moding the dungeon as well, not checking everything. They know that there's the possibility of finding another sword is probably pretty small, considering one is already known but not accessible. So they, again, probably feel pretty comfortable with also regular magic and master sword fights. They are not a bad runner by any means.
Zaen having a little bit of trouble there with Trinex, but he gets through. And now he's on to the final phase here. With the Tempered Sword, he could be able to one-cycle this, but before the damage becomes limited. So let's see how he pulls this off. If he hits this just right. Nope, not quite, but he gets one good quick hit in and finishes him off relatively quick. Even
not bad.
Teasing him by pulling on the spikes since he knows it won't take any damage for it. Drops the compass. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, Zaen is on his way to Ganon's Tower. We have a little game we like to play. There are exactly 22 item locations inside of Ganon's Tower where the big key could be hiding. Get your guesses in chat. Where's that big key hiding? Laugh a lot. Where do you think it's going to be?
I always go top left randomizer room. Depending on how they go about their chest, it usually ends up being around chest number 11, 10, somewhere around there. But so I will say chest 11. And as for location, top left randomizer room. How about you, Shades?
I'm always one for locations, exactly. So I'm gonna say right side. I'm gonna say that one room on the right side with the 4 chests. I'm gonna say the upper left chest on that one.
I believe that is the normal compass location, the one that changes the floor panels, correct?
One of those, yeah.
I do like the location. See, have we gotten any tile room guesses?
Not that I can see, but we'll find out soon enough here. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the run is on. All right, first chest we find, small key, second chest, 10 arrows. He's gonna go right side.
Yes, he is, and this seems to have become a very common thing. It no longer seems to be a gamble anymore. People always go over this way. If they get that key over there, it seems very common for runners to just go straight right, check these 4 chests over here, and then finish left. You know, it might be quicker, really, in the end. I'm still debating on it in my own mind, but I feel like going right, getting these 4 chests, and then going left is quicker. Of course, it all depends on where that key is. But I feel like this is no longer the gamble it used to be back, you know, when randomizer tournaments started happening back in the spring.
Yeah. All right, we got map, big 20, heart container, and this was the key I went, and red meringue. So my guess is out.
And that was chest number 6. So if you guessed 6, anywhere from 1 through 6 so far, you were not correct, as well as any of those specific locations. So yes, Shades, you are unfortunately out. But there are still plenty of item locations or possible key locations left. As we see Bob's short cheer, it is the shovel.
Shovel. Oh, Bob lives today.
Bob will live. So that was chest number 7, location number 7, if you were, because it's not technically a chest. And we go into this room up north as SuperSkuj heads their way into Tower Herod to finish up.
And we got big heart, small key again, and big 20. That random room's looking pretty good right now there.
I know, so that was number 11. So if we were going by my number guess, I was well off. But my location is still in there. We will see as we get to the double firearm room, and it's the cape. All right.
Magic cape. Hey, another safety. I'll take it.
Finding all sorts of safety items inside of the last couple dungeons. Found the powder earlier, and now we got the cape. And we also got the red boomerang as Zaen is doing those nifty boomerang swag strats.
Oh, botched the cane.
Oh man, this has got to be nerves getting to him a little bit. You getting a little hectic there.
Yeah. Onto the fire snake room now. Let's see what he finds there. Nice routing on that to minimize the damage there. And there's a piece of heart. Again, now we're up to the random room. This is where your call comes in.
Here we go. Top left chest. Come on, top left chest.
Let's see if you got better luck than I do. I've had no luck with the big key guessing game. I've failed every time.
Well, I mean, you have a 4% chance of getting it right, so it's not too surprising. Most people fail.
Right,
but this is chess 14,
Compass.
15, 16, 17.
Defeated.
All right, so that is location number 17. So we are running low on locations. SuperSkuj trying to slide past the bumper there and just falls off into the ledge. Luckily, it's one of the least punishing falls in Tower of Hera.
Yeah. So the question is it going to be in Bob's chest, the Ice Armos Knight's chests up there, or are we going to see a tile room run?
Oh man. Yeah, you know what? At this point, I kind of hope it's a tile room because that would just, kind of icing on the cake of this slow, methodical seed. Why not top it off with the slowest, most methodical thing? Is SuperSkuj gets trolled again? Oh man, he's not doing so well in Tower of Hera. Those nerves have got to be getting to him.
Bob's chest only having a piece of heart there, so not much paying off. Onto the Ice Armos. Thankfully, he's got those silver arrows, so he's going to be able to blaze through these guys very quickly. All right, so here we go, Ice Armos room. We got 3 potential chests. What's going to be in them? Where's that big key? Big
18?
20.
Oh,
Yes!
19! Wait, no, that would have been chest 20, I believe.
Oh, yeah, 20. 20. You are correct, 20.
The chest number 20. Wow, okay. So, let's see. Did anybody guess close to 20 or 20?
Oh, we don't have the official big key guessing game going on, so we don't know for sure. Chat pointing out big key at big 20.
Yeah, that was definitely a long Ganon. Even if you'd gone straight left, it is a long Ganon having to go all the way there. That is the deepest into the beginning stages of Ganon Tower that you can go.
Yeah, there's no easy way to route that particular location, so there was no way. Even if he had gone from the right side, it would have still taken him a minute to get there. But he's on his way up the gauntlet now, so this will work out.
Yes, it will. All right, so now SuperSkuj is officially heading towards Ganon's Tower now as they pick up their 7th and final crystal. So we will see if they decide to do the same route as Zaen did. But either way, we do know where that big key is, so no more guesses this time. Unfortunately, that would be unfair because everybody already knows the answer.
All right, Zaen having a pretty good run on the gauntlet thus far, getting through these rooms rather quickly, which just makes his lead that much bigger at this point. He's got this pretty much in the bag. As long as he doesn't take too many trolls from Trolldome or Ganon, he should be good to go from here on out.
Yep, and SuperSkuj heading to the right first. See if they do the full right side instead of going left initially. They will get the key here, as we know, so they won't be able to make their decision, and they are going straight left. So we'll save a few seconds of time, but at this point, they need a lot of help from Zaen falling to Ganon and struggling in the gauntlet, but their execution has been pretty on point, and it does not leave much doubt that they will mess this up. It is definitely Zane's race to lose at this point, for sure.
Pretty much. Especially that Sal rope room, he goes through very quickly onto the torch room. These rooms are the trickiest rooms because, yeah, you got to be very quick on your execution with these torches. So you got to know what you're doing with those, and watch out for that fire bar. That was close. He's going to opt to use just straight fire rod, not going to waste his time with the lamp. Probably going to pick up the full magic. No, he's not going to pick up the full magic. He's going straight up.
And that right there is the benefit of half magic. You can go through things faster. You don't have to worry about it. He's able to get through everything cleanly. He will get a full magic refill right before mini Moldorms. So, and that's one of the advantages of having half magic. It just makes everything a little bit quicker.
He also had enough keys that he doesn't have to bother getting the key from the Helmsars there. He can go straight through. And this room was notorious for me because I just had a run the other day, or it was actually just the other day, where a runner accidentally used up all his keys and got key locked there, ended up forfeiting the race.
Oh man, that is brutal.
It is. It really is.
The first randomizer race I ran, I actually did that and did the same thing. I had no idea that there was keys on the Helmosaurs, and also after the 4 chests on the right. I didn't know there was keys there either, as we get a piece of heart in the final chest of the game.
So yeah, this race, it's all down to Zaen at this point. He's got a very wide lead here going into Aga 2. SuperSkuj hasn't even come close, isn't even at the Armos Knights yet. So unless Ganon trolls him hard, it's over at this point.
Yeah, for sure. This scene, and that is a nice start to the Aghanim setup. Barely missed the triple, but did get a double, so a very nice start. Oh, the triple!
One hit away! And he's got a perfect setup for there it is! Zaen takes out Aga 2, and ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Big Pig.
Yes, it is, and that Aghanim was very nice in this seat. Those were some really nice setups. Almost got 2 triples, but well done for Zaen getting the 2-3-1 3-cycle. Very well done.
So with that, Zaen heads right on into Ganon. Probably would be nice if he had a little bit more health, but he's got red mail, he's got tempered sword, he's got silver arrows, he's got half magic with a full magic bar. This race, this fight should be pretty simple for him.
Yeah, definitely going to be a much easier fight than it will be for SuperSkuj, as SuperSkuj gets their big key and also a small key for good measure, and they will head straight up Ganon's tower. I believe picking up that small key actually makes it so they will not have to kill the Helmut Swords either.
Oh, you only need 2 keys at that point,
Correct.
so he is solid. And Zaen now working on Ganon here, having a little bit of trouble. Couldn't get a 1 cycle on him, but he's going to get the 2 cycle, so he is on to the final phase. You can opt to do the torch glitch, but he doesn't need it at this point. He's got a full magic bar with half magic. He's got this in the bag. The only thing he has to watch out for is Ganon hugs.
Yep, and he does have a health potion, so if he takes another hit, he can take that as a safety. But I imagine he's feeling pretty good about the way things are. Temper Sword, Silver Arrows, probably not even going to have to bother with that. So doing very good. Besides that, a couple little hiccups on the first 2 phases. Having a really good Ganon fight.
Tried to do the torch glitch, but couldn't quite get it. But again, he's not too worried. I don't think he's too worried about it at this point. 3 more shots should do it. Oh, almost got the double there. Oh,
That was very
close. For
close.
another double.
And here we go. There we go. That's the final arrow shot. He's just got to make it across the fanfare, and that is GG's for Zaen.
Indeed, congratulations to Zaen there. An amazing fight. And he finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 24 seconds. GG, Zaen.
All right, GG's to Zaen, and congratulations going up 1-0. Good race. And SuperSkuj is heading into Landmoas 2. They, again, are still on Master Sword, so a little bit longer Ganon fight for them. But this will be a 1-0 advantage for Zaen going into Game 2.
Oh, what a race here. The back and forth between these two, just amazing runs. This was a lot of fun to commentate.
Yeah, it definitely was. Even with our technical issues, it was a fun race. Very, again, it was a very slow and methodical race. SuperSkuj just having some swag strats with the King of Samaria there, having, of course, seen that dot done, having a little bit of fun with the race now.
Yeah, at this point, time doesn't mean as much for these guys, so it's just a matter of completing the race. So he's going to have a little bit of fun with it, but he's at least going to complete it because he's right there. No sense forfeiting now.
Yep, not at all. And SuperSkuj will have to use that the lamp strategies on there, especially since they use the Cane of Samaria on the Lambelas, having a little bit of fun, but does it very nicely still. No problem. We'll have to pick up the full magic up here.
And he's opting to check the last couple of chests here just to see what's in them, even though we know there's not going to be anything of worth. Again, he's just enjoying this time.
Yep. Once you know that dot done has come in, at this point, it's just all the kind of the stress and anxiety goes away because you know it doesn't matter what happens from here. It's just finishing, kind of putting on a little bit of show for the viewers. That's where those Cane swag strats come from. And we'll see, just having a little bit of fun with it at this point, knowing that it's not going to matter if you fall like you did just there.
Wow, can you time that any better?
I could not do that again if I tried.
Neither could I. Holy crap.
Did we just see a powder dash from SuperSkuj?
What is going on here?
He had his powder out, and with the boots, if you use the item as dash with the boots at the same time, you actually use the item, and that's why you see those hammer strats, those hammer dashes, and different things like that. He did it with the powder.
All right, let's see. And it was just pocket change on the pedestal.
Yeah, and I believe that is only 5 rupees. I've heard a lot of debate about what actually everything can be. I think pocket change is either green rupee or 5 rupees. Couch cash can be 20 or 50, and then there's one more for like 100 and 300. I'm not 100% on that.
Nice Agatu fight there for SuperSkuj. Now he's taking on the Big Pig now, so we'll see how it holds up for him, especially given his current circumstances. He's got a little less health going in. He's the only guy. He's got regular magic. He does have the red mail, but he also has Master Sword, so this will be a lot trickier of a fight for him.
Yeah, you do have to do the spin strategies, so we'll make these first 3 phases a little bit trickier, and especially the first 2 because of the fire bats.
And Zaen joins us now here in the channel. Zaen, congratulations, GG.
Yeah, GG Zaen.
Thank you. Thanks. I thought I would lose at the beginning fight after I missed the 1 slash, to be honest.
No, you went in there with a pretty good lead going into Ganon's Tower. I mean, he hadn't completed a few of the dungeons. He also, what I think the critical moment that cost him the race was he actually dipped into Misery Mire with a gamble and it backfired on him.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, he went into Mr. Mire while you were in Swamp, so we found out that he was not going to find Cane of Samaria in Mire while he was still going through it, so that was definitely a critical moment. And also, an interesting to note, he only has Master Sword, which he actually got well before you. He went into Pod pretty early, so he had Quake and Master Sword pretty early, but he didn't get the Tempered Sword, which was in the Dark Maze, correct?
The Mace of the Sword, and also, I think it was the Room to Four Judgments with the sword or something? I don't know. There were 2 swords pretty close by, at least.
Yeah, they were pretty close to each other, and he didn't get that second sword up, that Tempered Sword upgrade, so he's doing Master Sword Ganon right now. He's got silvers, but he's only doing Master Sword, so that in the end I think was what gave you the extra advantage.
Yeah, and he also chose not to route in half magic on his way up Death Mountain to do Tower of Hera and Turtle Rock, so he's also not doing this half magic, which he'd made the decision well before getting the dot done. Now at this point he's been kind of doing a few swag strats. He did a powder dash for us after falling to Troll Dorm 2, so it was kind of fun to see.
Did he find the lamp?
He did. It was in south of South Graveyard, or not South Graveyard, the South Mirror check.
South Mirror Cave, the little stumpy.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I decided against it. I just went to that.
You didn't need it. You didn't need it.
Yeah. He got that well after doing Pod 2, so it was pretty late. The only place he had advantage with it was on the Turtle Rock, where you did not have to do dark rooms there.
Yeah, it was really glad that POD really paid off with 2 swords and the Quake Medallion.
Yeah, that was when you entered. It's funny enough, he entered go mode just before you did, but he had like 2 other dungeons he still had to complete by that point because he hadn't done Skull Woods or Tower of Hera by then. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of different factors, but again, I think the true critical moment where he lost the race was that dip into Misery Mire. That hurt him a lot, going through all of that, and there was nothing in Mire at all.
Yeah, definitely. Misery Mire is a really annoying dungeon to navigate.
Yeah, and he just got 2 heart pieces.
Oh yeah, that, that didn't pay off at all.
All
Nope.
right, SuperSkuj does get Ganon down with pretty relative ease. He didn't have too many struggles. He did a pretty good job with Master Sword strats there. All right, Suzanne, I gotta ask you. You got the first win in this series. How are you feeling going into your guys' second game on Sunday?
It's still gonna be tough, to be honest. Gooch is a really good military pass runner. So
Yeah.
1 win is nice to have, but it doesn't guarantee the victory or anything.
No,
It's gonna
but
be
yeah,
interesting.
if you keep it this pace, you'll get it. Also, we should note that SuperSkuj does finish with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 27 seconds. So GG to SuperSkuj. He'll be joining us here shortly. In fact, let me double check. Oh, he'll be in here in just a second.
So Zane, this we talked about this. Me and Shades talked about this pretty frequently throughout the seed. It was a pretty slow seed in the sense that you'd get 1 item for every kind of general location. What were you thinking as you're kind of finding the hammer here, the mirror there, just like 1 item as you went around?
I was hoping to find the boots really early, because, I don't know. The seed really dragged on for no reason.
It really did. It was just kind of a slow, methodical seed, not really yielding many items in any one location.
Yeah, except for POD, which had 2 assault upgrades and the medallion which I needed.
Correct.
And SuperSkuj is joining us here in the chat. Skudge, dude, GG, sir.
Hey, thanks. Congratulations, Zane.
GG, Scott.
So, Skudge, kind of regretting that play into Mire, aren't we?
Which one's Meyer again? Oh yeah,
He's already forgetting about it.
yeah. I totally I forgot Swap was even a dungeon for a long time. Like I just completely forgot it existed.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's what cost you in the end because you did that dip into Mire. There was nothing there, and at that point, Zane was already in Swamp, found the boots and the Cane of Samaria, and that was it. Like
Oh,
it was
yeah.
only a matter of time. He still had to go into Pod, but speaking of Pod, we know you got Master Sword in Pod, but the thing is that did you not get both chests in the Dark Maze? Because I think there was another sword upgrade in there.
Oh no, I can't.
And Zane,
I can't do that room in the dark. I don't know how.
yeah, because when Zane got through it, he had Tempered Sword, so that also hurt, unfortunately. I think it was those 2 factors that ended up costing you, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. And that was like the first time I've ever skipped left side swamp, and both chests were good. That was kind of funny.
I know.
I left by accident and then went right back.
Yeah, we saw that, and we knew at that point that Boots and Canis and Mario were on the left side, and we're like, oh no, he's gonna leave, this is so bad, and then you went right back and had to reset the dungeon, but yeah, that was a moment of fright for us, as we were wondering if you were gonna remember to go back.
Yeah, yeah. I always full clear dungeons if there's items left. I don't like to leave, but usually I don't even like do them in a weird way. I just go straight and full clear them the most straightforward way I can think of. But not that time.
Of course, the one time that there's actually something over there.
Yeah.
I kind of asked Zane the same thing. The seed was super slow and methodical, and it just kind of for no reason really. It's just you get 1 item every location. How are you feeling about this seed overall?
I think it was a good seed, actually. I think with just a little bit of luck, I think that could have been a really good one. This is one of those seeds where, like, in the big weekly races, there's going to be one person that finishes at like 115, and then there's like another good player who's at like 140, just because of slightly different decision making.
But nonetheless, you know, GG both you guys. This was an amazing race to watch. We had fun doing this. Any final words from you guys before we sign off?
Not really for me. Not feeling too good about that, so I'm just gonna go cry in a corner or something now. I'm not actually gonna do that, by the way.
I mean, I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't judge you if you did. But you know, good luck to both of you on Sunday. That is, I believe, your rematch, same time with the possible Game 3 right after, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, good luck to both of you guys. For as far as you folks at home goes, if you guys are wanting more randomizer, there is a current race going on. They're just getting near the end as well, over on ALTTP R2 between JJ Blue and Mosheron Quipet. Make sure you don't miss that. And later on tonight, we've got Zertanol versus Kova right here on this channel. So make sure you guys give us a follow on all of our channels, ALTTPR 1 through 4. And of course, Speed Gaming 1 through 4 for our main tournament. Let me just double check the main schedule there. We've got tonight or actually in about an hour over on Speed Gaming, we have McLagan versus Evandius, so you don't want to miss out on that as well. And of course, we've got races happening all the time, so you don't want to miss out on that. And also, make sure you give a follow to both SuperSkuj and Zaen for their amazing work, and as well as our restreamer in the name of DT, our tracker, Dude, and of course, myself and my co-commentator, Sir Laugh a Lot. It was a pleasure commentating with you, sir.
It was a pleasure, and once again, there is a race finishing up on the second channel of this channel variation, and don't forget that. And the race that is going down tonight is a Game 3, so it is a win or go home situation for Zertanol and Kova, so definitely check that out. Again, give our runners a follow. They put on a great show for you, and they will be doing more races in the future for sure. And it has been a pleasure, Shades, and with that, I leave you all with a good day.
Indeed, we will see you guys next time, and as I always like to say, rock on, guys!